Okay, besides file permissions, probably the biggest issue people have in getting their file uploads to work is setting up PHP properly. Now there's a set of 6 configuration directives that directly impact the ability of your site to work with files and to be able to allow users to upload files. So first of all, we want to make sure that the file uploads configuration is set to on. Now you can set these either in the settings.php file using an ini set, which is a PHP function that allows you to override basic configuration for PHP. You can also use a .htaccess file or a php.ini file. And we're not going to go over those in detail here, but there's plenty of resources to help you get those sorted. The second directive that you want to make sure is set properly is the post max size. Now that's post underscore max underscore size. This directive sets the limit of how big a file can be when it's sent through post. And you want to make sure that that's as high as the biggest file that you think somebody will upload through an input on your site, through a file input. A closely related directive is the upload max file size, which is the maximum file size for any type of upload through the site. And that also needs to be set as high as the biggest file that you anticipate. The next 3 directives have to do with server time and memory allocation. First, there's max input time, which is the amount of time in seconds that are allotted to process an incoming file. So if it takes longer to parse out a file than this is set to, then the process will fail. There's also max execution time, which has to do with how long any script in PHP can take to process. And once that maxes out, then the script just is killed and cut off at that point. And finally, there's memory limit, which is a general setting that allows a single PHP script to consume a certain amount of resources. And this is typically set to something like 16 or 32 megabytes, but you may need to set this higher if you're doing some heavy processing. Okay, now that we've got our bases covered, let's go ahead and jump into building a module and demonstrating how to use files and the File API in Drupal.